All right, so time dilation, gravity, and systems. I see things as a system, right? And I'm pretty sure the universe does too. And this one verified it for me. Um, Noether says the same thing. She actually did the math for systems and stuff like that. And when you're looking at time dilation as the cause for gravity, certain things still don't quite add up. When you get to the really, really big things like a galaxy and its spin, we're adding in all kinds of extra weight and all this other stuff. But we have something called frame dragging. And I says to myself, I says, how does the universe, if you look at the galactic spin and how it just stays together, and it looks very, very much like a vortex, right? But we don't have all these big fluid flows and all these problems, complications with fluid because we have the metric, right? But we also have frame dragging. And so the metric is more like a field, and it drags. So it does kind of spin, but not like water. It's not quite that turbulent. But that's how the system, how the universe sees and separates a system. So I was talking before about how the frequency for a system, the universe sees this. It sees a frequency for that system. But how does it separate that system? So inside of an atom, we got the proton and the electrons all spinning around and doing all their crazy stuff, and it creates a very, very turbulent frequency, right? And it separates it, all right, by the frame dragging inside, tiny microscopic. But if you look at it on a galactic scale, now you look at the solar system, you don't have a lot of frame drag. We have the frame dragging around the planets that are spinning and around the sun that's spinning. So if you try and send a satellite backwards against the flow of the planet in orbit in space, it's still going to hit a resistance. It's still going to it's actually going to take shorter time for it to go around. It's a big complicated mess, right? But it's called frame dragging. It's basically the space time is spinning with it, with the planet. We see it big time in black holes, which is where we're getting to. All right, so but you also got stars, planets going around, but they're very, very, very tiny, very separated. It's not really causing a whole lot of frame dragging. But if you look at a solar system, on the other hand, a galaxy, if you look at a galaxy, on the other hand, and you zoom out, you get massive fog, is what you get. And meaning by the tiny little dots look like fog because they're so close together. They're not, but they are when you look at the whole thing together. It looks like a big fog. But when you think about the weight of each of these stars spinning, and especially the ones on the outside are spinning really fast, the ones on the inside are spinning really fast, and if you look at it, it's a vortex, just like a water going down a pipe drain. All right, and say, how does that work? Because it's not just time dilation that holds that together. The universe sees a system and maintains it in the frequency. And I said, but how does it see that? Because the universe follows very basic laws. And one of those basic laws is frame dragging. Around the planet, it's a tiny little bit around the planet. Around a big black hole, it gets much bigger, very big. And you can actually see it in the shape of the galaxy. And what it is that is a galactic frame dragging. So because of all these billions of stars all zipping along in the same flow over and over and over and over again, it's literally dragging the entire space-time with it because of the black hole and all of those stars, and it just pulls it along with it, which is why it spins in a way that we don't recognize in regular gravity, right? So we look at gravity. We did a great measurement of gravity, by the way. That's not where we screwed up. Our math for gravity is perfect. It doesn't matter what creates it. It really doesn't. We measured the effects, right? That's what I signed at. You just measure the effects. And when you put it all together, you end up with, well, basically a full gravitational system, including frame dragging, to explain the galaxies. I just figured I'd add that one in. And I discovered a theory that actually adds all of this into quantum mechanics. They threw quantum mechanics into this too, and like that's where I got on my own, and then I found it where they threw it into quantum mechanics. It started off with Einstein, Cantor, and then moved up to more recently. It moved up like in I think the '60s or something like that. It was two other people updated it to bring it into quantum mechanics, and then we ended up with the NCSK system. and they basically completely rewrote physics. And I think they did a hell of a job. Y'all should check it out.